can you tell us what happened?
Well, good morning. What we do know, based on police reports and based on the reports of those who were in the NAACP office in Colorado Springs on Tuesday morning, that at approximately 10:45, there was an explosion. There was an improvised explosive device that was placed against the exterior wall of the building, that it did cause an explosion that greatly disturbed the flow of community, the harmony of community. One described it as a shotgun blast directly to his ear in its loudness. And we know that law enforcement authorities, FBI, local police, and others are now investigating and looking for that person of interest. And hopefully they, in their work, will help us know who did this and why.
Was there any indication beforehand of any threats against that particular branch of your organization, or any reason why that would occur in Colorado Springs?
Well, I think that any time organizations are involved in the kind of work that the NAACP is involved in, any of its units can be placed into jeopardy as a backlash to that activism. We do have some anecdotal evidence of those who might have been disturbed by some of the activities of the NAACP, whether nationally or in the state or even locally at this branch office. But none of that has been verified as the precursor to the kind of criminal act that we saw on Tuesday.
The Southern Poverty Law Center's Mark Potok said several NAACP offices have been attacked since the 80s. He spoke on MSNBC's The Ed Show.
In 1981, for instance, an NAACP office was attacked. In 1989, an NAACP lawyer in Savannah was murdered with a letter bomb. There was an attack with a tear gas bomb on the Atlanta headquarters of the NAACP in the early 80s. And it really goes on and on. It's been quite something.
That was Mark Potok. Rosemary Lytle, if you could just wrap up in talking about your concerns right now and in this climate today, as we look at what happened in Ferguson and Staten Island, the racial climate in the United States.
Well, as we think about the long history of racial division in this country, going back to the most racially divisive thing that might have happened on this planet, the forced importation of African slaves to this country, I think that knowing that we've never talked about that as a country, knowing that we've never had a national moment of truth and reconciliation, knowing that we typically have responses to events in this country, whether they were the bombing of 4 little girls in a church or a bomb being placed under the bed of an NAACP president and his wife on Christmas Eve in 1951, or even what we were talking about from the Southern Poverty Law Center just now. We know that at the heart of these problems is the lack of a conversation on race. It also has not happened in Colorado Springs, an enormously beautiful place full of people who I believe, I've lived here for almost 20 years, are of good conscience, started by General William Jackson Palmer, who fought slavery in the North and founded this city as a place that would be completely inclusive, but very quickly became a place of restrictive covenants, became a sundown town, became a place that was inhabited by those from the South who could not accept that kind of complete equity and inclusion in public life, and is one of the reasons why the NAACP was born here in 1918, in 1918, when founder Mary White Ovington came to charter the NAACP Colorado Springs branch at the local church that had been started the first bricks given by General Palmer to Payne Chapel AME. So we know that the history of strife and division in this country, even in this pretty little place, Pikes Peak, a place that's storied in its beauty, underneath that is an ugliness that we've talked about and that I, as a journalist, have written about since I've moved here.